Record is started.
All right. Hello, everyone. This is November 30th. We are on our second day session with Carmen from RealSam. And today we have a special guest, Gwen, who is also joining from RealSam. And before we jump in a session, we had a beautiful question asked by Deborah. So Deborah, if you want to unmute and ask that question again for our listening members.
Yes, I wanted to be reminded how we are to start the screen reader on the RealSam phone.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And Carmen and Gwen, if you can take that question, and then we can jump right into your training. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you, Deborah. I do want to get to that question, but last session we had somebody that did ask something similar, and I can't remember who they were. Just want to confirm that everything worked out and that they were able to access all the voice commands. Do you guys remember who asked the question last time? No? Okay.
Yes. I was trying to unmute myself, Carmen. Thank you. Yes, it was related. I asked that question. I have connected to Wi-Fi, but I could not do it by myself. I had to get somebody that got me started. So is there a way to do it by ourselves?
Yes, it is. Jane has a list of commands that I sent her. And one of those commands would guide you or would get you right into connection with the Wi-Fi. Basically, you just have to tap to talk and just say Wi-Fi connection, and the phone's going to guide you through how to connect. So with that said, Deborah, has your phone been connected to the Wi-Fi?
No, my phone, it hasn't. Is that the only way that I can get the phone to speak?
Well, we need to connect it either to the Wi-Fi or to the data plan from a SIM card. The reason for that is most commands do reside on the cloud, and therefore we do need that connection. I believe last time on Tuesday when that connection was done, then all the other questions came, or the phone started working.
Okay. I'll try that after this session. Thank you.
Perfect. Now, I know that this was going to be more of questions and answers. I also wanted to walk you guys through the customer portal, but I see that we have one hand up. Why don't we do, I'm looking at the time, let's do about 10 minutes of questions. I'll go through the customer portal, and then we can come back to other questions. Does that sound like the right plan?
Carmen, that'll be fine. Yeah. Do you want to call on the individuals who are raising their hands, please?
Yeah, it's Christina. You can ask your question.
Hi, can you hear me okay?
Yes, we can do.
Yes. Thanks. So I think I'm not sure if Debbie, you were asking how to turn voiceover on, or I guess the RealSam equivalent of voiceover, because the voiceover screen reader and the talkback are two separate things.
Looks like you're done talking, so we'll lower your hand to 8 seconds.
I was trying to figure out how to make it talk to me at all. Whatever I had to do.
Okay, so just to be clear, we have the RealSam Pocket right here, and the question, if I'm understanding correctly, is how do I even get RealSam Pocket to answer to any of my questions? Like if I say, what time is it?
Yes, that's right, because I haven't been able to get anything to answer.
Read messages. To read. The time is 6 minutes past 1 p.m. on Thursday, November 30th, 2023.
Exit.
Cancel. Happy to talk again whenever you like.
So, once again, Deborah, the way to do that is to connect it to your Wi-Fi so it can download all the commands from the cloud, and then you're gonna be good. Ideally, if you're gonna leave the Wi-Fi, you should have a data plan on your SIM card, so that as you go out to the grocery store, as you go out to other places, the phone can continue connecting to the cloud. This is, I don't know, to say fortunately or unfortunately, but this is something that most smartphones nowadays do need. Okay. Do we have another question?
Yes,
No,
a
thank you.
follow up on that. So there was a comment earlier about the differences between the two ways of having speak. It seems like it does require to have a sighted person at the very start. When you turn on the device, yes, you know that if you tap the button, it says talk with speak, but it doesn't say it unless it has been connected to Wi-Fi. Without that, a blind person cannot do it. Is there anybody in there that had a different experience?
I'm just waiting for any responses, but you're absolutely right. The ideal situation is when somebody receives the phone, that you let them know that the phone needs to be connected to Wi-Fi. If you can help them connect the phone to Wi-Fi or have a family member, that would be great. But you're right, that's something that we need to highlight, and I thank you so much for that. I think that that's something that we can include in one of our next projects, which is we call Mastering RealSam Pocket.
Yes.
And Gwen, if you can make a note of that, because
Yes.
we assume that everybody would know that, but it's wrong for us to assume. So I really appreciate you guys calling my attention to it.
This is Ansel. I just wanted to make a comment here about this because this is something that I personally had to deal with. Maria, the situation with it is that once you understand and know that it requires a connection to Wi-Fi or to data, once you know that, and you also know that there's a specific command to give it to connect to Wi-Fi, once you know that command, you can operate it with outside-in assistance. So let's say when you got the manual, it said, simply to, issue this, configure Wi-Fi.
Mm-hmm.
Once you say configure Wi-Fi, the speech, there's a onboard speech that kicks in, even though you're not connected to Wi-Fi yet. And it's enough speech to get you connected to Wi-Fi. And once you're connected, you're good to go. But you need to know the magic word, which is connect to Wi-Fi. That was my experience.
I'm gonna turn one of my phones on so we can go ahead and hear what that's like.
Yeah, Maria and I are in the same situation. I'm in an office where there isn't anybody else who's doing this. So I had absolutely no idea that that's what I had to do.
Right. And that is such a good point. And
Carmen,
something
can
that
I
we
make
do
a-
need to address.
Yeah,
I'd like
Carmen.
to add a little comment before we go too far on this. Thank you, Enzo, for that. So step one, and in reference to what Carmen was saying, if you know the magic command, if you didn't get to read the instructions from the little thing that says the command, wouldn't it be nice if it says, instead of the fixing, I think, would be that as soon as you power on, it would have one sentence that says it's something that indicates that should be the magic word. I think that would be the fixing, because as I was using my other phone with the scanning ability, I could read in the screen that it said every time I touch it. It didn't say it, but it was showing tap to talk. And so instead of having touch to talk, the thing would say connect to Wi-Fi or whatever the magic exact sentence is. That would be nice.
That's a very good point. And I'm actually making a note of that. And I know Gwen is also making a note of
Yes.
that. Because some of these things we take for granted because we do them all day long, but I really, really appreciate this. Jane, you've had.
Yeah, I did have a comment to make, and I realize this is not a solution, but it may be helpful, and it may also be good information for everyone on the call to know about. The MAP program does purchase the RealSam through a vendor called Teltex. Our iPhones also come from Teltex. Teltex has a device called an iWise box. This is a device that individuals can plug into their router, and then it plugs it. It's a box that has a cord that plugs into the router and then another cord that plugs into the phone. The iWise then automatically makes the connection for the device to make that connection to Wi-Fi. So although you are feeling your way through the connection process, you don't have to get into the device settings, define the Wi-Fi, and then input the password to it. It does it automatically. And that is something that they're including with all of our wireless devices. So in the future, as the RealSam goes out, and this is something that they've only very recently started. So
I did not know that, Jane.
Yeah, and we'll have to talk with Teltex, Carmen, and see if this is maybe a kind of a workaround solution for this problem. So just wanted to put that out there.
Okay, perfect. I think that's very good. I did not know about this, but thank you, Jane. But one of the things without a doubt that if I'm understanding that would be great is for any user that gets the phone out of the box to understand that in order for the phone to start listening to any commands and responding, it needs to be connected either to a data plan or to Wi-Fi. And we can't just assume that this is something that everybody knows. And I think this is very valuable information to us. Cindy, your hand has been up.
Can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can.
Okay, because I'll make sure that the headset was not muted. Okay, well, all right. So I'm going to tell you, I think this phone is a cool phone. so I could
Mhm.
use it. But, you know, it's like this is we have sighted people on here and we have those of us that are blind. We needed to have separate trainings because all the sighted people, I did this. It sounds lovely and good for you. I used to be in that group too. However, for those who have, everything is different. So I have this little cute little phone here that you know, I'm trying to get it on. I was trying to get it on before the first class. Of course, then I find out I can't. So now I have to connect it to Wi-Fi. Okay. But I can't do that unless I go dig up somebody in the neighborhood. Can you come over and hook this up? You know, I'm sorry, but this all needed to be, maybe you told us this when we were up there in Baltimore. I don't know. You were the last one of the day. You were the perky one at the end of the day. You were good for the class. But, you know, it needed, so we could have hooked it up to a data plan there or something, anything. Because I'm sitting here, don't worry, you're not the only one, with these equipment that I really like. The only one that's going to be of any good is the iPhone because I can just use mine. I don't have to use that one. And I think something has to be done with that. But I mean, it's so frustrating because it's like we've got two different groups here, one teaching English and one teaching Spanish. And we're all together in the Spanish class. Blind people are all in the Spanish class. If you can't speak Spanish, you're screwed. So, I mean, it's really, but I like this little phone. I mean, several of these phones I think are really good, but you know, if I can't start out with it in the class, and maybe I'm wrong to say we need two separate classes because you have the sighted people who are just flying right through, and those of us who can't see, I know, are struggling because we can't get on unless I could dig up somebody to set it up for me. I mean, am I wrong?
Cindy, I'd like to make a comment. This is Jane, and this
Hi,
is
Jane.
this is a pilot program. We are learning
I
as we
know.
go along, and your comment is spot on, and I really appreciate it.
I mean,
So
don't let me
yeah, we'll
sound
just
whiny
make,
and complaining,
yeah, no. You know, I mean,
but
you
I
have a
am.
really valid, good point, and you know, so we're just learning as we go along, and we will certainly make note of it. Not that
So
it
I
helps
should.
you now, but appreciate your comment.
So what you're saying, Carmen, is I really thought you were cool that day you were there because you were last and you got us all going. You know, and you came around and said hi to everybody. And I really do like this, but you know, I don't like to get frustrated and I want to do well. I want to be good at this because I think it's really cool. Now, let me ask, is there a SIM card already in this phone?
No.
No.
Okay, I have a couple
No.
SIM cards here. I should put one of the in the phone, correct?
Yes.
Or I can
Now
buy one, I
you can
guess.
buy one. I think in that case, I would defer to Jane.
Okay.
How everything was done and how we can work together on getting you guys up to this point with the phone. Like Jane said, you know, I think this we're all learning.
Right.
I
I
didn't
just don't
realize.
want to seem like a bird brain. You know, I want to do well.
You know what? You have no idea. And I mentioned it on Tuesday, and I mentioned it when I was in over there visiting you guys in Maryland. No, I was the last one, and by that time, I'm sure you guys were all ready to just throw bananas and tomatoes at me. You know, just
Oh no, I'd
leave.
eat those.
But you know what? Somebody had to be last, and
That's right. But no, I
um,
thought you were really good that day. I thought you were great. I
well,
thought everybody was great.
but you know, I do everything you guys say. We take back and we work on it because this is all part of improving our user experience. So this, we are taking note, and I'm sure Jane is also taking note for any future you know, future webinars and future programs. And Jane, I will be more than happy once you know, we go through this, and once people are connected to the phone, they have the Wi-Fi going and everything, I'll be more than happy to sign up for another one of these sessions and help the people that are just getting their phones working. I don't have a problem. I want you guys to have the best experience with the phone.
I really appreciate what you're doing. I really do. I just don't want to feel like I'm not. It's what's coming from me, I guess. I'm very hard on myself, so just saying. But I appreciate it. Well, thank you so much, Carmen. I will go mute myself, and you'll probably
And-
make me stay muted forever.
And Cindy, you have my email, you have my phone number. Just as a reminder, little bird brain here. I only deal with 50 states. So when you call me, just give me a little bit more idea of who you are and where you're calling me from.
I will.
But Jane, I know your hand's up, and just honestly, let me know if you guys want to do a 30-minute update meeting with you know, just a few people that need to catch up. I'm good with it, because guys, you guys, I'm not doing you a favor. You guys are the people that are out there that are talking to our potential end users. You guys are the ones that know what goes on the field. You guys are a wealth of information for me, for us. So don't think that you are saying anything wrong or that this is bothersome. This is how we learn. So Cindy, you can speak again.
Well,
okay.
All right. So I'll just go find somebody to put this Wi-Fi going for me. Okay. Because I think the phone's so cute.
Carmen?
Yes.
It's sorry guys, it's Gwen. I just want to make a comment that I completely understand that. I'm visually impaired myself. So I completely understand what it's like to, you know, have a device that you kind of really like and you're trying to figure it out. It happens to me all the time. And I think Carmen, I second what Carmen says. We really need to figure this out and make sure that there's a good protocol for getting everybody started when they don't have someone sighted. When I got my phone, I did have that where it did speak and it kind of prompted me to, you know, it told me that I wasn't connected. So that's something we need to go back and really clarify exactly how it's working out for everyone. But I completely understand what you're feeling and what you're saying, and we're making a note of that for sure.
Thank you, Gwen. Cindy, do you have the phone with you?
Just set it down. I was listening on the thing. I can get it. It was
No,
it's
that's
over
okay.
on the other table.
No, don't worry about it.
Because it couldn't do anything anyway.
We can talk a little bit later, but
okay.
If you know where the tap to talk button is, you can tap on it and just say configure Wi-Fi or Wi-Fi settings, and it will walk you through.
Okay. So anyway, the tap to talk is on the front screen, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah,
so
the part that
the bottom.
Right, but I'm going to have a sighted person see it before I can do that. We went through that before, you know, when I was listening the other day, the tap to talk, but I'm going to have to, or I can just tap all over the screen until maybe it will. I haven't heard it talk, and I've tried that.
Hey, well, Cindy. I'm sorry, Carmen. This is Diane from Blanchette. Cindy, if Carmen, can you correct me if I'm wrong, but it's the bottom half of the screen pretty much, right?
Correct. That
where
bottom
you tap
third. It's the bottom third of the screen. Correct.
Yeah, so you just tap on that. It's not like you have to put your finger on a specific spot.
Yeah.
I thought I did that. Well, I'll talk to you after this, Diane.
Well, you can talk to me, but Carmen knows better. I'm just throwing my 2 cents in
Oh,
because that's
okay.
what I do. But
And I'll throw my last sense too. The bottom of the screen is the part where the lanyard is attached.
Yes.
Correct.
Correct.
Yes.
yes.
So
Right.
Live
I
transcription.
think my
So-
issue is the phone's not talking at all. So it's not only talking to me, but the screen isn't verbalizing anything. So even
Exactly.
if I say connect to
Now read.
Wi-Fi, it says nothing. So I can't even
Audio now unmuted.
like navigate through the screen with my fingers, like as gestures. So it's not verbalizing anything.
if
Looks like you're
you
done.
guys can just tap on the bottom third and say one of these two commands, either tap on it and say device info and listen and see if what the phone says, or just tap on it and say configure Wi-Fi.
Stephanie also raised her hand.
Okay, hi. I do want to just clarify that I apologize. I did not actually get the meeting last week because I was in another meeting. But I just hit this today and turned this on, and I understand what everybody's saying as far as, or I think there's a difference between what they're experiencing, because I currently had turned the phone on, hit tap to talk, said configure Wi-Fi, and went through the process. I don't even have a SIM card in here. So, I mean, it doesn't connect. It connected to my Wi-Fi, which I thought was really weird, but it doesn't do everything, but it is talking, and it was talking from the beginning. So most likely that something other setting may be off on hers, because if I got without anything in my phone and literally having the first time touching that tap to talk button, I got a voice to talk to me when I said from what you said, as soon as I said configure Wi-Fi, that's when it started.
I've been trying while we've been sitting here. I've been trying. I've tapped on the thing, and I get the sound, and I give the command, and then nothing happens. Nothing speaks.
Okay.
Nothing's still happening. I can't
So-
get it to configure Wi-Fi.
If
Can you
we
turn it? I was gonna say, turn it off and turn it back on again, and maybe that will reset everything.
and
Sorry, Carmen.
that's okay, Diane. One thing to notice, and one
Yeah, I'm.
May not be the same, sir.
we don't need to double tap. We don't need to do any of that. You just tap once and just say configure Wi-Fi. Now, what I would like to do is, and I don't know if this is okay with you guys, but after the meeting, if somebody needs additional help with connecting to Wi-Fi, I can definitely stay on and we can walk you through. But this is a great point, that we need to make sure that people know that it needs to be connected to Wi-Fi. I am sure I mentioned it when I was there, but like I said, it was a long day for all of us, and we heard about a lot of different amazing phones. So, it's a learning experience for all of us. Okay.
Excuse me.
Okay.
I was gonna ask Carmen, when you don't leave your finger on it, right? Do you just tap of like a second and let it go?
Correct. You just tap. Did you hear that little beep?
Yeah.
Okay.
I wasn't at the initial session, so I wouldn't have heard it anyway.
Okay.
Carmen, this is
Okay.
Betsy. Can I just interject here real quick? Because when I first got this phone, I didn't know how to turn it off, and I kept pushing the side button that I turned it on with, and I did something that it needed to be rebooted. So I wonder if people have done that and their phone needs to be rebooted, and that's why they can't get the talking to work.
That's a
I
good
had to hold
point.
down something for 12 seconds and then something, but I don't remember exactly what I did.
Bet you're right. I heard the little blip blip just now.
But if
when
if you're not sighted, you're not going to know that it's because it just kept like doing a circle. So it wasn't saying anything, it wasn't doing anything. And anyway, so you might want to tell people how to reboot it, and maybe that will solve some problems.
Okay. I'm gonna I appreciate that. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start with a few basic commands, and let's just pretend I took the phone out of the box. Jane, I'm a bad girl. I always keep my phone off of the case, so I'm gonna put it back on the case so that we're all
Carmen,
yes, ma'am.
I'm just saying, taking it out of the case, we know it has to have the case on to keep it protected.
Okay, thank you. The other Jane. Okay, so when
I heard another funny noise.
So
sorry.
You guys are making me laugh. Okay.
Well, these funny noises are cute. It went. Did I do something?
Cindy, you're making me laugh. Okay, guys. So we have the phone, we get it out of the box. Normally you would have the case, and we know the top part of the phone, we know it because it's on the back. We have the lenses for the camera back here, and on the front, at the bottom, we would have the lanyard right there. And then what we would do is we would go right above the bottom part of the phone. That's where we find the tap to talk button. And if you just hit it once, with the RealSam, you don't need to do gestures.
Configure Wi-Fi.
You don't need to do gestures. You don't need to double, triple, quadruple tap, just one tap. So a lot of times what we do to check on a device and see what's going on is simply just tap and say device info.
Device information. User ID. REA.
Exit. Configure Wi-Fi.
Configuring Wi-Fi. Please wait. Scanning for Wi-Fi access points. Please wait. I have now put the list of available access points on the screen. Move your finger around the screen until you hear the one you want and then release. Select the forget button at the bottom of the list to forget a network. Select the cancel button at the bottom of the list to cancel.
Now, obviously my phone's connected to Wi-Fi, but I'm just gonna.
Chipchate secured saved signal 100. Kaliascali secured signal. Prodi secured signal 100%. Mason's new home 24 secured signal. Next, Snyder House secured signal 53 for next page. Forget a network. Cancel. Wi-Fi configuration cancel.
So I canceled it because my Wi-Fi is already connected, but you would be able to go through those steps, scroll until you hear your Wi-Fi and continue from there. So that's what you would need to do. Once you are able to connect to Wi-Fi, if you cannot tap on it and just get the time, then that's where I would be concerned, because then there's something going on. But when we do find the right network, we tap on it. It does give you ways to be able to. It does give you a keyboard, so you can add the password to it. and then it will connect. Okay.
Carmen, this is Ansel. I just want to get clarification. Something you said. You said that it needs Wi-Fi in order for it to speak, or is it that it needs data access? So whether you get it through the Wi-Fi or you get it through the data plan on your SIM card.
Correct. It
Okay.
needs.
Okay. So if I had a phone, so if we had the phone with a SIM card, we wouldn't be having this problem. Is that correct?
If you had a phone with a SIM card
With data
on it,
right,
that would
right.
be correct.
Oh, okay. All right. Thanks.
So I've tried this multiple times and I still can't get guided through the Wi-Fi configuration. I get the phone gives me those little sounds, but no speech to guide me through setting up the Wi-Fi. It just doesn't.
Okay. Jane, is it okay if after we're done with the meeting, I can stay on with a few people so I can see what's going on and we can guide Cindy and anybody else that needs help?
Kitachu, do you think that's okay? I mean, this is University of Maryland.
Unfortunately,
Zoom
I have
account.
another appointment, so I really can't stay on today, but I would love to meet with you privately. I can't stay today.
Okay, we can do that. We can come up with figure out a schedule and you can meet with me, you can meet with Gwen, or you can meet with Sheila, which we have several options for you.
How about if following the training, anyone that would like to jump on that call with Carmen emails me, Jane, and then Carmen, I'll coordinate with you and we'll get that taken care of.
Beautiful.
Okay.
Beautiful. So guys, I wanted to talk to you about the customer portal. So the customer portal, I love it. I believe is very useful. And I believe it's very useful for family members, caretakers, anybody that is helping out with a loved one that has lost their sight. Why do I like it so much? Because you can go in there, you can add contacts, you can review somebody's contact list and see if they've edited the contacts correctly. You can add, you know, some cell phone providers require that you do star 86 and all these symbols and numbers. You can do all that through the customer portal as well as add extensions. Okay, so I'm just gonna show you my screen for whoever is sighted and can see my screen. If not, I'm gonna walk you through how to get there. We will be providing this information to everyone so that if you have a client, they can have this mastering RealSam Pocket information, and then the family member can help out with this. So you would be going to www.realsam.us. Can I share my screen? Yep, share screen. Okay. So for those of you that are sighted, are you able to see my screen?
I can't see your screen right now, Carmen.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
Now
it
it's
would
good.
be nice
It's
if
kind of-
I hit share.
There it
now
is.
it's-
I see it.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. So here's our website. On the top, right of our website, right above Sam's head. You know, a little bit above Sam's head over here, we see support. And then if we click on support, we're going to see user guide, release notes, FAQs, which we're going to be updating very soon, customer portal, and contact us. So we go to the customer portal and we see a page that just says RealSam customer portal, username, password, login. And this is where we kind of go, oh my God, what, how do I don't know, help, you know, help is coming your way. Trust me. What you have to do is you get on your phone and you tap the tap to talk button and you say, what is my portal login? What is my portal login?
You can log in to the customer portal app, portal.realsam.us. You have the following username and temporary password, which has 5 digits and is only valid for 1 hour. You may set your own long-term password on the portal. The username is 42524, and the password is 99401. Say again to hear.
Exit.
Cancel. Happy to talk again whenever you like.
So this is meant for somebody who is sighted or partially sighted to work through this customer portal. So right there, the username, it's a username that goes with your phone. And anytime you need to know what your username is, you can just ask the phone. And the password, as it said, it's good for 1 hour. I'm going to teach you how you can add another password to the RealSam customer portal. So I'm going to log in, and then I see here, let me move this box. I see RealSam customer portal, welcome RealSam. It has my RealSam ID, and it has different boxes. One of them says contact management, catalog browsing, settings, contact us, and my device. So if you click on my device, we're going to see information that says model, RealSam Pocket. It's going to give me the IMEI information and when my phone became active. So if you ever need to have your IMEI number because Verizon or any of those companies requested it, or because we have requested it, that's one way of gathering it. So there's plenty of other ways that would be a little bit easier. But that information is right there for you guys to have in case it's ever needed. Now, very important, contact management. I'm going to go here. It's the first box. And I'm going to click on this. And as you guys know, I like to, you know, on Tuesday, we added James Bond to my contact list. And I want to add somebody else to my contact list because I don't know, I'm just hopeful. And I'm adding George Clooney to my contact list. I'm hoping George can give me a call and I know when he's calling. So I can just go on here at the contact, at the number. If there was an extension to reach George, this is where I would be able to add the extension. Once again, this is better if there's somebody sighted that is doing this. Let's say, you know, to reach George, I need to not only dial his number, but do, I don't know, star 45. Right after the number, before I get to the extension, I can do any type of symbols that I want. And so this is where I can add star 45. Okay, when I save it, it can take up to 4 hours to show up on my phone. I have found that a lot of times it's immediate. From being here from the contact list, this is where you can check and see if other people, if the contacts that have been updated correctly, if there's anything that needs to be changed, or you can upload a whole list of contacts. So if you have someone and you want to train them on how to add contacts, they can add a contact on their phone. But if they have 20, 30 contacts, they don't need to add all 30 contacts by voice. They can just go over here, have a loved one help them out, and upload the rest of the contacts if they have it from a file. Here, if you click on upload contacts, we're going to see that you can upload a file. Okay. If you want to change contact or remove contact, we can do it from here. No problem. So once I'm done checking on that, I want to go back to see, you know, what books are there that I might want to read. So I can go to catalogs. Catalog was also, I'm going to go back to the dashboard so we can see contact management is the first box. The next box is catalog browsing. When I go to catalog browsing, I have books at the top, and then at the bottom, I have podcast. For books, I can go on there and I can select any book I want, by title, by author, by description. I can simply just go to book sources, click on book sources, and it's going to give me the 4 book sources that we have. And I can just select one of those book sources to find a book within that book source. So there's a lot of different options. So this is great. I often find that people want to, they miss reading the Bible. So I just search for Bible, and I find that there's a lot of different versions of Bible. I'm going to go to Towards Trust, and I'm going to browse books. And I am going to, I don't know, pick eeny, meeny. See, I have one here, the 100-Minute Bible. I'm just going to select something that says The Battle for the Book. I think this might be interesting. All I have to do is go here, add to bookshelf. And then when I go back to my phone, I can simply tap the talk and say, read books. And it's going to guide me through all the different books that are on my bookshelf. So you can have a loved one go in there and add as many books as you want to your bookshelf. And so you can read through different books as you want. This makes it a lot easier than just having to go through all 2,000-3,000 books on the phone. Let's see what I have on my bookshelf. I have 4 different books on my bookshelf. So I can go from here and I can remove any of the books from there, and just to make space for other books. Okay. I'm going to go back, and let's say now I like podcasts, and I want to see what different types of podcasts we have. I can once again go and search by episode title, description, name, or I can click on show all podcasts. When I go here, I notice that there's 1,500 podcasts that I can search from. And, you know, we can select as many podcasts as we want, and we can add them to favorite, or we can select, browse within the podcasts to see all the different episodes and select the episode that I'm wanting to listen to. I like NPR, so, well, I just lost NPR somewhere around here. But this is how you can really go in and just select all different types of books and podcasts just to listen to keep you entertained, keep you informed. Now, what happens, you know, we're done with doing all this. And so what happens if it's a, what happens if it's a family member that's helping? Family's members not with you at all times, but they want to help you from their home. You know, maybe they don't want to sit there and always have to ask you to tap to talk and say, what's my portal login? They want to be able to access the customer portal through their home and help you with adding contacts and adding books. So what they can do here is you go up to the 3 dotted lines up, and we go to excuse me, we go to settings. And when we go to settings, we can go here to change password. When we go to change password, we will add the old password / temporary password that the phone just gave me. If I don't remember what that is, I can tap on it, and if it hasn't been an hour, it's going to give me the same password it gave me before, and I can add a brand new password. So that means you will always, if you do this, you will always have a personalized password that maybe you can share with your caretakers, your family members, whoever's going to help you, and you can have your temporary password as a backup. So let's assume I do that. I back out of there, and I'm done with my customer portal. Now, I know that when I initially showed you guys how to access the customer portal, I did it from our website, but you don't have to do it from our website. They can really access it through going to portal.realsam.us, and it's going to directly turn you into the RealSam customer portal login page. Okay, so customer portal, I think it's very, very useful, and we will be providing additional information on everything you can do from the customer portal. So I know we only have a few minutes left, but do you guys have any questions regarding the customer portal? No questions, everyone silent. Tiffany.
Yes, I wanted to know, for the customer portal, you can only access it from the website. You can't access aspects from the phone. And I have 2 questions. In the books, you can only list the category or choose the categories from the portal. You can't choose them from the device itself.
So I'm going to answer the last one first. You can select books directly from your phone. You can just tap on it and say, read a book by Mark Twain. you can select titles, you can select subjects, authors, but obviously going through the customer portal, sometimes you can just select a lot more at a time and not have to go through all the different steps.
Okay.
With the information Jane's going to send you, that's a list on how you can navigate through the different lists of the book source. Okay. And the first question, Tiffany, was, can you access this from anywhere else? You can. You can access it from another phone, a tablet that you can log into the this website on.
Okay, thank you.
Another question, Cindy? Betsy.
Sorry, thought you called on Cindy. All right, so if I go into the cited menu,
Move your finger around the screen.
turn the volume down here. One of the options is web browser. So I don't know, it was always my understanding that you could not access the internet with this, but with the websites with this, but I can, and it works, and you can actually access the portal here. But the problem is, and I know it's the cited menu, it'll talk through the menu, but then when you open up and go into any area, it stops giving voice guidance. But anyway, just an FYI on that. When did you be able to access the internet with this phone?
When was this added to it?
Yeah.
I've been here since the beginning of the year, and that has always been there. We don't highlight it as much because it is for sighted assistance, and we don't want to get anybody confused. Though we will shortly be adding other features that will be more in tune with people who need a little bit more of assistance.
Okay, because even like logging into Wi-Fi, if you go through the cited menu option, you can do it through there, and it talks to you it gives voice guidance for a while, and then when you really need it, like to toggle, like it tells you to toggle to turn on the Wi-Fi, so it'll bring up all the options, but then it stops, so it doesn't read to you any of the options. And I don't know if that's something that's hard to add, but that seems like it'd be an easier way for people to log into Wi-Fi.
Right. And one of the things that we run into is there's various levels of tech savviness, and there's different levels of comfort. So if there is the sighted assistance, and yes, you're right, it's going to guide you only through part of it. And then there is the standard menu. I try not to, in these meetings, try not to show people how to go into the sighted assistance, because I want everybody to be on the same playing level. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does, except for that we do have some people here who are training who are sighted. So I guess it just it's nice to know that option if you're training somebody how to do it.
Right. And that's a good point. And I think that goes to Cindy's point. I think one of the questions to start off should have been, you know, how many people are sighted and how many people are not, and be able to split some of the training with both different levels and guide everyone through the sighted assistance and the standard way of doing things. So that's a good point for other, I would say, other trainings. And same, Jane, I'll be happy to do another training for sighted individuals. Tiffany. Thank you. Betsy.
I just have a clarification and not a an observation and a question. So the cited menu is in a different menu than normal operation. I guess that's my question. Is that separate?
Yeah, yes. Remember on Tuesday we went through the L menu?
Yes.
Okay. So in order to get to the cited assistance, we go to the L menu, then we go into help and support, and that's where we see the cited assistance. So you kind of have to dig through it a little bit more.
Okay, okay. And the observation is that when I connected to Wi-Fi, after I moved my finger around the screen to choose the network and then lift my finger, the keyboard popped up to enter the Wi-Fi password. The keyboard is actually in I guess alphanumeric layout and not a QWERTY keyboard layout. So that was another observation that I discovered when connecting to Wi-Fi.
Thank you. There's actually a QWERTY keyboard there as well. Gwen, do you want to?
Oh yeah.
Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, so that's actually, I wanted to comment on that. Betsy was talking about the menus and making sure that it's accessible. I mean, not the menu, the Wi-Fi option. The Wi-Fi option should be accessible if you put your finger on the screen, and as long as your finger is on the screen, it will read to you what your finger is on. So each time you go down a different option, a different Wi-Fi option, you should hear the phone reading that back to you. And then when you lift your finger off, it should be selecting that particular Wi-Fi. And then this the same thing with the keyboard also. I don't have it on here at the moment, but there should be an option for changing the keyboard so that you can be comfortable. But the keyboard works the same way, where you can slide your finger across the keyboard and lift it up to select each character. And that's how you would enter your password if you're doing it on your own. Ideally, you could do it even if, there's no one there, even if you can't see. You should be able to enter in your password that way.
I was able to, yes.
Okay, great.
Thank you so much.
Let me inform Carmen. Our captioner, Kimberly, is leaving because she told me that she has another event starting now. Just to let you know. And Torres has raised his hand also.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Go ahead. Anto?
Hello, Torres?
Hello?
Oh,
Hi.
we can hear you.
Yeah, I was double muted. All right. So here's the situation. So I was attempting to do sort of general web style searches, just in the same way that you would do searches with Siri or Alexa, just asking for general information, simply using my voice. But it appears that it's not possible to do that. So let's say I wanted to, like for example, if I wanted to look up something on Wikipedia, with Alexa, I give a specific command that includes Wikipedia, and it will find information on that topic for me. Do you have an equivalent? I mean, I know you can search for books, and I see there's an option for searching for articles, but I have a question about the articles thing too. But just dealing with this one first, there's no general option to do that? There's no general command for searching for general information?
No, so instead of saying tap to talk and asking what's the weather in Paris, if you wanted to ask something more specific, that you would need to get to Wikipedia or something of that sort. We don't have that feature as of yet.
Okay.
Coming, but we don't have that as of yet.
Right. Okay. So, and then there's the option for searching for articles. I did some searching for articles, and the articles that I was getting, that was, I guess, somewhat limited. I don't know if there was a more expansive way to do the article search. So when it's, go ahead.
How are you going about searching for articles?
Well, I mean, it gives you, when you go through the menus, there's an article option, same place, I believe, where there are
like
books.
newspapers.
So you can just say search for articles, and articles on or about whatever the topic is, and it will find articles to a very limited degree. And it says, I think the articles are 2 months old or something like that. But I guess the question that I'm trying to find an answer to is there some more expansive way to get more articles, or that's just the extent of it that we have there right now?
That's a good question, because I believe in your question there's a combination of two different features. One is we do have a newspaper on there, and it might be giving you information from that newspaper. However, I do want to try it out a little bit. Would you give me some of the things you were asking for? And I want to play around with it and make sure that I have a complete answer for you.
All right, I guess we can take that part offline. A critical thing that a lot of clients need is a calendar. I was looking for a calendar option there that you can set with voice. Is there a calendar option?
Not right now. That is on the list of features to be added.
Okay. And this is probably a Jane question. So Jane, I am actually thinking about installing a SIM card on my RealSam phone, and so I'm assuming that's okay. That's within the context of this program. Hello, Jane.
Hello, Anto. Yeah, this is Jane. We don't have the ability to pay for ongoing SIM card coverage. The the kits did have Mint Mobile SIM card kits in there, included in the kit. That was a placard that has a SIM card within it. And there are steps on that to register a SIM card online. However, you would need someone sighted, because there's an activation number within that placard. And when you register with Mint, you do get a few months free, where you're kind of getting coverage for the first couple of months, and then you can opt to continue or not with that service. So I hope that helps.
Okay. Well, I know I believe the Smart Vision 3 had the card already installed, but I don't think the Pocket came with a SIM card, unless it was separate in the box somewhere.
Right, you're right about that. Yeah, Raz Mobility did pre-install the SIM cards. They were also Mint Mobile in their phones, and then there were some extra SIM card kits, placards that were put in with your bag as well.
Oh, okay. Well, that I would have to, and they're all T-Mobile.
Correct. Well, they're all Mint.
Mint Mobile.
Mint. Okay.
I had my hand raised, but I wanted to just jump in. This is Erica Tinsley from PG County. I have Mint as well for my personal device. And if you download the Mint mobile app, it kind of helps you with VoiceOver, you can probably walk through setting it up that way. Instead of having to read the little included information on the little package. So I don't know if that works or not.
That's good. That's good to know, Erica. One of the things I do want to mention, because I did get this question this week, is I want to confirm our phone is unlocked. So you can use any service provider on the T-Mobile, Verizon, or AT&T network. So if in your area AT&T works best, then I would get that. So our phone is completely unlocked. That's also one of the reasons why we don't initially provide a SIM card, because it depends on what the needs are. Okay.
And I don't know if some of the devices are using eSIM as well. So that's another thing to keep in mind. If you do 611 on some of the devices, I don't know if it has to have the SIM card in them, but I know eSIM, they have to kind of set it up on their end. And then they email you like a few hours later and say, here's your activation code or what have you, and go from there. So it just depends on the device, I guess.
Yes, Jane, I'm going to send you another piece of information, which is I'm going to send you a copy of what I have on this card, because it talks about the service providers, what you want to have on there. It talks about everything on here. It shows you where to put the SIM card on the A14s. I believe you guys all have A13s, so I can add that to it on where to install the SIM card. But this I will send this, and if you can send that to everyone as well, that would be great.
Absolutely.
Just one last question. When it comes to installing the card on the Pocket, is there any special things that we need to keep in mind when doing it? Just general guidelines in installing it. Are there any special quirks that we should know about?
Not no special quirks. If you've installed SIM cards before, you know how to open it up to be able to get the SIM card tray. On the A13, though, the A13 has 3 slots for SIM cards. And it's very important to put the SIM card in the middle one. That's why I'm gonna send you some information on that. On the A14s, it just has 2 slots, one for the small SIM card and one for the big SIM card. But that's all you need to remember.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. I know we're losing a lot of people. I see the names on my screen getting disappearing, but anybody else have any other questions? I'm more than happy to answer.
I have another question, or just I'm just curious in general. I know that this program, this is Erica Tinsley again. This program is developing and we're just kind of feeling our way through the process, which I totally respect because we're all, learning at the same time. But I'm wondering how valuable tutorials like video or audio tutorials would be to help, answer some of these questions, especially like 101, how to install a SIM card as a person that has a visual impairment. Just kind of talking through some, because I'm a TVI, so I'm just thinking like from the student perspective, talking through the process. Where does the finger need to go? What will you feel? Some of those really, really important key words for helping a lot of the participants know how to do this. Because I think myself included, I'm sighted, yet I can walk away and forget, and then I have to go and kind of tinker around on my own. So if there was like one reservoir of information that was like, this is how you install SIM cards as a visually impaired person. This is how you, turn it on, how, just some basic 101 tutorials, that would be great.
That's very good input. That's something Gwen and I have been talking about. So that's very good input, Erica.
We're definitely working towards that, and making the information more accessible for everyone and really showing it also.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, Erica, this is Jane. Thank you for that comment as well. It does look like Marylanders Online is now housing all of the YouTubes for all of the sessions that have been recorded so far. So that'll be a really good resource. In addition to that, we and get at you. I don't know if you know where I know that as we've been going along, we've been collecting information about websites and just if we have additional documents. I'm not sure where those are, if they're being also included on or accessible through Marylanders Online or not. But do you know, Getachew?
Jane, I don't know about that, but I will take the question and I will ask Vishnu. So she will reach out to you.
Okay. Yeah, and also just to let you know, Erica, I know that Raz Mobility has several tutorials on the MiniVision 2. I think they're still working on a collection for the Smart Vision 3. And I know that Blind Shell also has a great library of tutorials as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
So.
And Carmen, you've got Sam. He's coming. I don't know. This is like a shameless plug, but I'm on the AER board, so Sam will be here in Maryland for AER next year.
Okay.
He's a YouTuber and he does a lot of tutorial-based things. He's like a good resource for you all because he's visually impaired. He uses devices. I watch his channel. I learn a lot from him. So I don't know if you want to tap in with him too, because he might help you with some editing and some kind of ideas from that standpoint as well.
That's a good point. He has done one of our videos, but it's a good point. Since we're talking about next year, Jane, can I not be last? just throwing that out there.
I think that's a great idea, Carmen.
Unless you need entertainment.
That's a good point too, so watch out.
Okay. We know that videos are very important, and we're also working on some of those. But thank you. All this reaffirms that we're on the right track. Okay. Anybody else have a question for me?
Okay, going once. Okay, I guess that's it. Carmen, thank you so much for your time, for your presentation, for your openness in the discussion, and we all keep learning as we go along. It's been great.
Perfect. Thank you, Jane. And thank you, everyone, because these questions, they teach us more than you guys would ever know. So I appreciate this. And we're here to answer anything that comes up in the future.
And I'll be sending the commands that you gave us from the first session have been sent out with an email, and I'll send out your other document with the next email. And everyone, please remember to answer the surveys. And again, that invitation from Carmen to do another session is there. So if you're interested, email me and I'll make sure we get coordinated on that.
And Jane, if we need to use my, we can do it on my Teams or my Zoom account in case for some reason we don't have the other accounts available as well.
Yeah, that will probably be how it'll work. Thank you, Carmen. Yeah.
Desmond has a question.
I just wanted to say, Carmen and Gwen, thank y'all for all your help. I know for me, using primarily voice commands is something I'm not so accustomed to. So I'm glad, there's a phone out there with that option. But, thank you all so much for doing this training with us and also the follow-up you're going to do.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Desmond.
Appreciate that.
Yep. Okay.
All right. Well, thank you, everyone. I guess we'll see you next week. And I don't remember if next week we're on iPhone or Pixel, but I'll include that in my email going out following this session. So thank you so much.